Hello everyone, welcome to episode 8 of Bebop Mondays, the show in which we explore some really cool bebop licks that you can practice all week until it's time for Gypsy Jazz Fridays. And today we're going to take a look at some really cool lines played by Gerry Mulligan on the standard It's Wonderful, coming right up. So as you can see, I took out the lamp that was behind me and was flickering in the screen. But don't worry, if you like the lamp, it will be back later this week because I ordered a new lamp, much better lamp, will be here Wednesday. So now you might say, Gerry Mulligan, well, he's great, but it's not really bebop. That is true. Again, it's not really bebop. He's part of what people call cool jazz, which was on the other side of the US, on the West Coast, with people like Chet Baker, Lee Konitz, and Gerry Mulligan. But it's the same time, and many of the lines are similar, though they are a bit different, especially in the way they were played, in the phrasing, but the vocabulary was very similar. So this is one of my favorite standards, Wonderful, a George Gershwin tune, and there's 2 diminished chords in it, and many people wonder about what to do with those diminished chords. So I'm going to explain that as well, but we're also going to explore some really cool lines by Gerry Mulligan. So let's get started with that. Oh, and before we do that, I wanted to say I just finished my manuscript for my first book, maybe my only book, who knows, from the Hemert system book, in which I go from I don't know anything about jazz improvisation to hopefully a good level, and many of the subjects in that book, of course, have been discussed in my videos, but there are so many videos, it's very difficult to piece that all together, so I made a book that is logical from beginning to end, and there are special videos for the book. You will hear more about it, but the book is finished now, at least the manuscript, so I still have to record the videos, and it still has to go to a designer to make the layout of the book. But next week I will run a Kickstarter for it. So, or not a Kickstarter, probably Indiegogo, a crowdfunding campaign. Keep an eye out for that. I will of course announce it in a video as well. But if you're interested in having a physical book with the Van Hemert system, it's coming. Okay, let's go to the first line. Again, I'm not going in order of his solo, I'm just going in order of the chords. And we encounter a 2-5-1 very quickly. Bar 5, 6, and 7 is a 2-5-1 to E flat. The backing track for this is on my channel. There's a link in the description. And this line sounds like this: 3, 4, 1. 3, 4, 1. So it's basically based around the B-flat bebop scale, although, of course, Gerry Mulligan used to call that the cool jazz scale. And what I like about it is that it ends on that 9, on the 1 of the E-flat. But he doesn't do, he plays. That's nice. And for the rest, it's a very easy line, but most of the lines that Gerry Mulligan plays are very easy going, but they're just great melodical lines, and they swing, and they're just fun to listen to. Of course, they're all on a low register, so that's also nice to explore some lower licks on the guitar. And yeah, this is one of them. Let me play it on the backing track. So I see now that I'm not going completely in order because this again skips the first 4 bars, but the lick is coming. So this is a phrase for the 2-5-1 and the turnaround after it. So it starts in bar 5 if you would play it on the chords, and then you continue until the first bar of the next A part. 3, 4, 1, 2. 3, 4. 3, 4, 1, 2. There's not really a lot to say about this phrase. I mean, it's a very nice phrase. I like it a lot. I like the turnaround. I like that little phrase. It reminds me of that song, Mr. Christopher Columbus, the bridge of it. Right, the A part is... But then the bridge goes... Reminds me of that. So that's why I like it probably. Let's play it. So I can play it in the first A and I can play it in the third A. And here we have a phrase for the first 4 bars. Really nice melodic phrase again. Sounds like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So he's really playing an E diminished arpeggio on top of that bar, but in the first bar he's still playing, right? So what he's basically thinking is C7. So C7 flat 9, and that's basically what you can play over that E diminished chord. That E diminished chord is just a substitution for C7 flat 9. So if you're improvising, you have that E flat, and then you get E diminished, just play C7 altered lines. You can play all your altered stuff there. And he's showing that here by playing C7 flat 9. And of course he's continuing that motive that he starts in the first bar. Which is always a nice effect. And now we arrive at the bridge, which is 2 1-6-2-5s in G, or you can play B-7 in the third bar, same chord, same function. And so you can outline all those chords, of course, but maybe it's better to just play nice lines in G. And that's exactly what Gerry Mulligan is doing. Again, not too difficult, but just very swinging, very melodical. Sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. actually he doesn't end on this B, ends on a B flat. Something like, because I'm thinking, and he's thinking, or I'm pretty sure he's thinking G minor instead of G7. There's no chord instrument on the recording, so there's basically a bass playing a G or a walking bass line, and he's just playing G minor on top of it. But most people play G7 in the bridge in the 5th bar, so I kept it for G7 and I just made the resolution to a B natural instead of a B flat. 1, 2, 3, 4. And another phrase on the G part from his second course. Again, really nice melodic lick. Not difficult, sounds like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's all about those quarter notes, with the second one having an accent. That makes it sound special, that makes it sound different from anything else you might have heard before, because you don't hear this a lot. Without the accents, it's just a skill. But with the accents, it becomes something special. Now we get to the last, or the third A, which has also diminished chord, but a different one. It has the G flat diminished or F sharp diminished, and that's just a substitute for D7 altered. So, and the rule is if you have a diminished chord in a song which has the root, which has the key of the song in the chord. So that sounds complicated, but this song is an E flat. So if you have a diminished chord which has an E flat in it, which is E flat diminished, G flat diminished, A diminished, and C diminished, then you can just play the altered dominant half step down. So from the main key. So this song is an E flat, so there is a G flat diminished, so we can play half step down from E flat, D7 altered. All your lines for D7 altered will work. Or, of course, you can play diminished arpeggio, or you can play the diminished scale. And that's what GERRY Mulligan is doing. He's playing the diminished scale here. Very tasty line again. Sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're wondering why I skipped the last 4 bars of the bridge, that's because GERRY Mulligan is not playing lines that actually fit on my backing track, because he's thinking G minor. So I transcribed a Charlie Parker line for that coming next. First, let's play this line. And the final phrase is a Charlie Parker phrase from the recording called Stupendous, which is just a contrafact or a theme, a tune written on the chords of another tune. So in this case, it's written on the chords of It's Wonderful. I believe it's a tune by a classical trumpet player called Mel Broyles. It's a nice theme, but it's the same chords, and I took this really nice line that Charlie Parker plays on those 4 dominant chords in the second half of the bridge. And the lick sounds like this: 3, 4, 1. Three, 4, 1. I'm kind of skipping that A flat in the 3rd bar. You can play it. I'm playing it more like a ghost note. Let's try that out. Very tricky to play on the guitar, especially in this tempo. It's pretty fast. I'm sorry for that, but you can always put the backing track on half tempo on YouTube just by clicking the little cogwheel, and then you can choose different speeds, different playback speeds. So I would recommend starting a little bit slower. That was it for this episode of Bebop Mondays, and I'll see you Friday for Gypsy Jazz Fridays, and I'll probably make another video on Wednesday with my new light. Next week there will be a crowdfunding for the Hemert system book, and in the meantime, have fun with these phrases. Bye!